My 29 male, sister, 31 female, and my wife, 29 female, do not get along. What is the way forward? Edit alt title. It feels like my sister is trying to break up my marriage and my mom offers little to no support. What do I do? My now wife had only met my family a handful of times before my best friend's wedding. When that weekend came, I would be staying with some of the boys the night before the wedding, and my wife was going to stay with my sister and her husband. It was their first time having any time to hang out as just the two of them. The wedding comes, my family shows up with my wife, everyone looks happy. We all had a good time at the wedding. Later in the night the music got really loud, so me, my wife, one of my friends, his parents, and my parents all went outside to hang out on the back porch of the venue. My wife and my friend chat a lot, getting to know each other. This is the first time they've met. We hang out there for the rest of the night until the wedding is over and we all go home. Fast forward a couple weeks and my mom calls me in an absolute panic, thinking my wife and I are trying to sell our house and move to Mexico as soon as possible. I had to talk her down and I don't even know where this came from. My wife and I had talked about selling our house and were considering Mexico as a possible option to live in one day. I have always wanted to live abroad for a period of time. This shouldn't be surprising to my family, but this was no immediate about to happen thing. My wife had told my sister this while they were hanging out, and my sister then told my mom in a way that made my mom think we were basically fleeing the country together. Still to this day they hold that belief that that was the idea and will not let us try to correct them. A couple months later, I got a call from my sister claiming she heard from my best friend, the one who got married, that my wife was flirting with my friend, the one we both hung out with all night, and that I should be careful. I told her that is not possibly true, I was there with them the entire night. Yet she insisted I talk to them. So I asked my best friend. He was shocked that it was even a question. Then I asked my friend who was supposedly flirted with to give me his account of the night. He said he and my wife had completely normal interactions which he thought nothing of, and that his mom asked if she was flirting with him, to which he responded, no. Yet even after these accounts, my sister says, well, that's definitely not what I heard, and simply won't believe me even though I was with both of them the whole time. Around the time we were starting to plan our wedding, we decided on a venue with a pretty low capacity, so we decided we wanted to also do a party at my wife's family home to include her massive extended family. It would be essentially a reception, no ceremony. Both sides of our actual wedding would be about the same size in representation. My whole extended family was invited to the actual wedding along with my wife's closest extended family members. We told my family these decisions as we made them. A few months later, my sister asked my wife and I in front of my family, so I heard you're doing a insert wife's home state wedding. What's that going to be like? Confused, we reiterate the details. It's not a separate wedding, it's just a party so that we can include all of my wife's extended family in the celebration. The next morning, I wake up to my mom crying her eyes out and emotionally dumping on me, claiming we're splitting the families up, and that weddings are supposed to be about coming together, etc., etc. I had to explain to her once again that the wife's home state party is not a wedding and that the actual wedding is a coming together of both our families still. My wife just has a much bigger circle than I do, which we could not accommodate at our venue but still wanted to celebrate with in some capacity. My mom eventually cools down. Later we were all having a conversation in the living room. My wife got up to use the bathroom, and as soon as she left the room my sister, under her breath, asked me, so are we even invited to the wife's home state wedding? I proclaim, it's not a wedding, and have to defend us again, and have to reassure them that, duh, of course they'll be invited. Whenever we visit, my sister and my wife get along just fine on surface level, but then my sister will make little jabs at her to me behind her back. As if I'm not going to share with her? She twists my wife and I's words in a way that makes my wife sound controlling and manipulative of me, and has caused my parents to panic a handful of times about our decisions and relationship in general. Later, after my wife's bachelorette party, my sister told me she's hurt that she wasn't invited, included. I told her I'm sorry she's hurt, but I'm not surprised, and recounted the examples above as reasons why my wife doesn't feel comfortable being around her. My sister continued to defend her stories, especially the flirting rumor, and couldn't believe there was still an issue even though those things took place up to 2 years ago. Ultimately I blew up and told my sister that I don't know what her problem with my wife is, but she needs to ask herself if she's the problem when nobody else in my life has an issue with her except her. For clarity, we eloped and are having the backyard reception plus a more formal wedding, which is why I'm referencing her as my wife and not my fiancé. What do we do from here? Too long did not read. My wife is lovely and wants to have a relationship with my family, but my sister is a jerk and my family keeps gaslighting us about our experiences. What do we do? Your sister is a massive problem. I would go LC or NC if I were you. She doesn't respect you or your wife. So it's not your wife and sister don't get along, it's that your sister is malicious and manipulative. This title is misleading because your problem is not that your wife and sister don't get along. Your problem is that your sister is a manipulative asshole and chose your wife as her victim. There's nothing you can really do to fix the problem because your sister chose to behave the way she is and consistently defends her own behavior. Personally, I would go LC&C with her and explain to your mom why, making sure to give detailed examples of your sister's actions. But it's up to you how you want to proceed. Props to you for defending your wife so far, and not letting your sister get the best of you. Hopefully your sister doesn't get any worse. You need to cut way back on contact with your sister and put her on an information diet. First, tell your mom that sister has caused multiple problems with her lies, so while you acknowledge this may be difficult for her as a parent, she has to accept that you are adults and sister gets consequences for her BS. Normally, I wouldn't advocate for this, but your sister has shown she is more than happy to bring your mom and others into her drama. Your title is completely misleading. Your wife has done nothing wrong. Your sister and your mom are being unhinged bitches. They're trying to undermine your relationship in the hopes that they can get you to break up with your wife. It does sound like you're defending your wife, but how long are you going to let these two torpedoes go after your wife's good nature and peace? Do you want to stay married? You need to take some drastic action. Go LC with your mom and sister. Tell them that every time they make up tripe, all it does is push you further away. Please stop putting your wife into situations where she is exposed to these people, especially your sister. They don't like her, and it's your job as her husband to protect her from your people. Since they're treating your wife like trash, they can just do without you and your wife. Your mom will have to deal with her role, too, since she refuses to see your sister's part in this. Stop talking to your sister, for sure, and either low or no contact with mom. My boyfriend, 29M, told me I'm not a priority to him but insists on having a baby, 25F. I have always been accepting of him being away and being fine doing my own thing in the meanwhile. He has a job where he leaves a lot, going weekends away with a friend or a few weeks holiday with a friend. But this time I needed him home to help me with recovering for a surgery, but he wasn't there. He went away on a weeks-long trip with a friend because he felt overworked. When he returned from his trip he was cold, indifferent, and when I asked what's wrong he told me he needed alone time cause he has been with people for weeks and needs to recharge. He also said he wouldn't mind going away for weeks again, that he would miss me but would be fine. This broke something in me just because in these weeks I had pain, was alone a lot. I told him I didn't feel like a priority to him. He told me he has thought about it and he thinks I'm right. He said he just has much things he wants to do in life for himself. This confuses me so much as he is always the one insisting on having a child together, living together, etc. I had to quit birth control because of my surgery and he has kind of insisted on not starting again, that he really wants to have a baby with me and just using a pull-out method, and if I were to get pregnant it would be alright, sort of his mindset. This comment has hurt me deeply and I'm lost in where I should go from here. He's not there for you when you need him. Why would you have a child with him? Time for you to move along. He doesn't want to be in a family with you. He just wants a baby mama who raises his kid while he does whatever the heck he wants. He also doesn't get to insist you don't use birth control. Dump him before he knocks you up. Do not have a child with him, whatever you do. This man doesn't like you at all. Do yourself a favor and leave him immediately. Do not get pregnant without being married. Pregnancy is a huge commitment from the woman. There is no commitment from the man. They walk away all the time. You're not compatible. Don't let him get you pregnant so you're trapped with him. He's not the one. Please value yourself more. He doesn't like you, hun. Work on your self-esteem and leave him. You deserve to be cared for. It's literally the bare minimum. Husband, 33M, says we can only do couples therapy if I, 30F, get a job and pay for it. Our relationship has been rocky the past few years since having kids. I felt very alone and misunderstood and like he doesn't care to put effort into me. I brought up my concerns many times, which he typically then blames me somehow. Last we talked about our issues. He said if it didn't change he would consider therapy, which he has been a hard no for years. Says couples who need therapy should divorce. Well, today I brought up my concerns again. I said it had been 2 months and I'm still crying myself to sleep. You've only asked how I am, how my day was twice. He told me to keep track since he didn't believe he doesn't ask, and I'd like us to now start therapy. He said he has been trying so he doesn't want to do therapy. I pushed back saying it would be helpful for me and my mental well-being to get on top of these concerns, and he said, if you want to get couples therapy you can get a part-time job and pay for it, then we can go, cause I'm not paying for it. I am a stay-at-home mom to our 2 young kids so I don't have an income. He has an expensive car that he spends lots on. Feeling lost, hopeless and confused about what I do from here. Do I continue asking for therapy or take this as my answer and begin planning what things will be going forward? He gave you his answer. What's funny is he's about to spend more during the divorce process and child support, alimony than couples therapy. What an inconsiderate asshole he is. Crying every night to sleep is not a good marriage. Just divorce him if he is not willing to do therapy and cover the cost himself. He doesn't care about you. Get out while you can, and in the divorce go for the house and car and child support. Why would you want to be with someone who cares so little about you? I think he doesn't want to pay for it because to him it is a waste of money because he doesn't care about the state of his marriage. I'm sorry, it sounds awful. Even if you paid for it, I get the feeling your husband will just claim that you and the therapist are ganging up on him or that you picked a therapist who would side with you. This doesn't seem to be someone with any desire to self-reflect, change or grow. Counseling cannot help someone who won't help themselves. Do you have health insurance that can help cover the cost? This is such a bizarre ask on his part that feels extremely manipulative. Has he brought up him wanting you to go back to work before or mentioned being stressed about being the primary breadwinner? My 36 male partner, 35 female, of 15 years moved out due to infertility. Hey Reddit, when my partner was 33 she got a serious infertility diagnosis. To say it's been a stressful journey is an understatement. She is devastated and my heart breaks for her. We've tried IVF many times, and without going into too much detail, suffice to say it hasn't been successful. For me, I think I can be content childless, I'm open to adoption, etc., but my partner doesn't think she can be happy without being a biological mom. If this situation wasn't hard enough, my younger sister is pregnant. I'm not sure I can fully articulate the amount of stress it's put on our relationship. We also have other people in our lives that are pregnant, plan to try and get pregnant, but none as close to us as my sister. Combine this with the fact that my partner didn't really like my sister for various reasons to begin with, and I find myself navigating landmines of boundaries and emotions that I honestly don't think I am equipped to handle. Fast forward to a few days ago and my partner just moved out after living together for 5+ years. If I can sum up why in a nutshell, my sister lives just an hour away, but it's clear my partner doesn't want to be involved, at all. She told me honestly, but hurtfully, that she wouldn't be able to be involved with my nephew's life. I tried to accept these boundaries but ultimately found myself growing resentful and trying to nudge my partner to shift her perspective. She took this as not caring about her feelings enough and she didn't feel mentally safe in the relationship. I own the place we live in, so the financial piece of her moving out isn't a huge deal. She got a place not too far away as a month-to-month sublease. A piece of me is honestly relieved to have some space and knows that realistically this situation isn't going to change much for the better anytime soon. But a big piece of me also misses her and thinks we should have been able to figure out a way to navigate this very difficult situation together. Has anyone been through something similar? Any advice on how to navigate and if it's best to just let her go would be appreciated. For what it's worth, I suggested couples therapy but she didn't want to go. She has to be the one to come to terms with this and be a well-adjusted adult moving forward. It's not your job or something you can force. I've been on the opposite side of this and it tore a family apart. I fell pregnant whilst my partner's brother and wife were going through IVF. I was as polite and tactful as I could be and it still was never enough. It's awful, but unfortunately your partner needs to accept the situation or it will eat her alive. It's awful, it's cruel, but it's going to happen. You cannot avoid pregnancy and babies. Sounds like she needs space. Maybe give her space, but don't let her put your feelings at a detriment. She sounds selfish emo. I think you're going to have to let her go. This is her grief she needs to work through. Now, leaving you is not going to solve her infertility, so I don't see the point there, but it's not my grief either. I'm sorry you are going through this, and for your partner's diagnosis. Your partner will need to come to terms with her infertility or she will be living a very lonely life. I think you also need to maintain your relationships with family and friends even if your partner finds it's hard. It's tough, but I don't think you can do anything here. You've offered up counseling. Unfortunately, that's all you can do. You can also make it clear to your partner that you are at peace with not having kids and would like to have a life with her, but that will involve friendships with people with children. We do not get to be the arbiters of who does and doesn't get to have kids. I think she needs time to heal and time for space. I did not struggle with infertility but struggled with recurrent pregnancy loss, multiple miscarriages in a row and no living children. So I can somewhat understand what your partner must be feeling. I know it's not rational thoughts, but I felt broken, worthless and ashamed. It's absolutely devastating. You feel so alone and isolated going through it. I imagine your partner is thinking of the biological clock, and it is so earth-shattering when the one thing you think your body should be able to do doesn't work. She probably feels ashamed, hopeless, depressed, etc. I highly recommend an infertility therapist or some sort of grief therapist who specifically specializes in infertility. I wouldn't wish this pain on my worst enemy. Your partner needs therapy. It's one thing to be triggered, quite another to essentially want to cut contact with family members because they had the nerve to get pregnant. She can mourn not becoming a mom without being a jerk about it.